seen more than anything is these, like the fans, the local contributors really kind of talk about their displeasure. So I want to hear y'all. Try to keep it short, man, because I don't know how many people we gonna have, and I ain't trying to keep y'all here all night. But I mean, let's hear it, man. One by one, y'all try to come up and talk about like where y'all think that the state of the franchise is, what y'all think could be better or needs to be done better. And then we kind of take it from there. So if you don't know how to request, go ahead and request. I'm gonna Rocky is I think is one of the only requests I got up there. I don't know who else. I want to get some of the other ones up here from before, some of the favorites. But Rocky, if you want to go ahead, you know, say what's up to everybody, and we'll kind of take it from there.
First of all, hey Chris, how you doing?
What's up, my dog? It's been a long time, huh?
It has. First of all, let me just say this. Sorry to everybody who listened every season. Last season, my many of y'all, some of y'all know, some of y'all don't. My brother passed away. I took a step back, very emotional. Um, I'm gonna say this, and then we can go move on to whatever you want to talk about. Mental health is serious, y'all. I highly suggest in our community, if you're going through something, you speak to somebody. My brother was 34 years old and he took his own life, and that's a hard pill to swallow. So that's why I took a step back. Couldn't come and talk about basketball after losing my only brother. And so I apologize to everybody who listened a lot and was worried about where the spaces was. But yeah, basketball wasn't my main priority. So, but me, Charles, and Flaren have talked about returning when the season starts. So y'all want to pull up? It'll be the same times as usual after the game. But shout out to you, Chris. Welcome back. Hopefully you come join us a couple of times during the season. I see Chaz in here, Justin, a whole bunch of everybody. Alvin, what's up? Um, yeah, let's get back to this team. But I just want to address that right quick. I ain't stepped away and just said fuck y'all. I do plan on coming back. Um, man, I said this to y'all a couple of years ago, and Chris, tell me if I'm lying. I sometimes felt like we were nothing but Gail's gas money to gas up the jet and go on whatever fancy trip she feel like flying to for the day. I still feel like that's the direction of this organization. I don't feel like there is a real direction for this organization. You don't win 25 games and decide that you're not going to do a motherfucking thing um, to change the trajectory of your team the following season. You just gonna keep everything the same. You don't have a pot to piss in. You don't have nothing to fucking lose at this point. Moving people around and trying to get to a program that is successful and competitive basketball. And that's no shot at nobody who's on our team right now. That's no shot. I don't have no shade against no particular players. Um, I do have a particular player that, but we're not gonna go there because we'd just be beating a fucking dead horse at this point. But if we still playing the one man holds our future game, we ain't never going no fucking well. Um, and so that's what I see. I continue to see a roster being built around one player. I don't see a real definition of building a solid team. You got two rookies who came in last year, had some great basketball games, and you don't build around them or try to, put them on a platform to where they're your future, and you're not showing me no real fucking, dedication to building a real team. Um, when it come down to the Will situation, I will say this. Shout out to him, and I hope he thrive and succeed in Houston. But if you're looking on the national landscape, it ain't just a New Orleans thing where New Orleans don't have this or New Orleans. Everybody got fired at ESPN today. Every fucking body, right? So it's more so much as moving away from the traditional journalistic aspect to different venues with social media being the way it is now. I will say that this organization ain't made it a safe space for journalists to thrive here because there ain't shit here to thrive off of reporting on. What you gonna keep reporting on a fucking 20 something win team? I mean, there's no growth here. And so, as a person who has continued to give Gail my money as a season ticket holder, somebody fucking steal my debit card so I can stop wasting it. But I don't see anything besides my bored ass life being a retiree of investing in. There's no change here in this program. We doing the same shit. All we did was change the faces of the people who run an organization. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not a racist. But all we went from was white people in charge to some black people in charge. They still doing the same mediocre, don't give a fuck, let's collect Gail money bullshit that they was doing when Griff was here, when Dale was here. It ain't nothing fucking changed. So I hope that they start to look at all of these other programs that are thriving. Houston and did another fucking rebuild, still better than us. Memphis finna do another rebuild, gonna probably be better than us. Fuck, who ain't better than us at this point? And it's become tiresome as a fan, but nevertheless, I said this, 5 years ago when we first started doing these things, Chris. It's gonna be Pelicans and Saints until I go in a casket. So I'm gonna keep cheering for the niggas, but I don't have to like the bullshit that they feed us.
Well, Rocky, welcome back. Well said. Good to hear from you again. And I mean, we talked on the side about your brother, but definitely, man, sorry for your loss, and good to hear you. Considering coming back to the tour of the world and talk about the Pelicans post game, man. This was, I think, a lot of really good moments over the past 5 years. But even when I stopped, a year and a half, y'all kept things going, and it was still a part of a lot of people's post game and stuff, man. But shout out to you. Um, Rocky said a lot to open, which I think is when you think of the landscape of the where media is going right now. I don't know if the whole Will thing, if Will leaving or Will going to another setup is necessarily surprising. But there was some other national folks that mentioned that this isn't a surprise. I know Nick Underhill talked about it, Jeff Duncan. I saw Justin talk about it. I saw a few people, and I think I'm missing some that mentioned that it's also an indictment on it's just not being much to really talk about when it comes to the Pelicans versus when Zion first got here in 2019, or even when we were doing spaces around 2021. And shortly after that, people started to leave. I think after one of the more successful seasons, Christian had left to go to Dallas. So I think for me, what I'm curious about from everybody, it's like you got like three sides to this, right? You got people that think this situation won't get better. I don't really subscribe to that. You got people that think it will get better, and I don't really subscribe to that either. I'm more so like I think it can get better. But I think for that to happen, like everybody got to be honest, and I want to hear like the people that have more of an optimistic view of it as well, not just those that are pessimistic about or being blunt honest about what they seeing and what they how they feel like the future of the city of the team and everything is going. I want to see the other side of it as well. But I will tell y'all this. I talked to like two or three people today that's in that organization that even told me that they understand like the pessimism. They understand like um they understand people not really not being excited right now, and some shit got to change on the court. But it got to go beyond that, man. So I want to hear from a lot of you other guys here. Anybody that want to speak, once again, man, it's an open floor. Like, don't be shy. The request button is there. Send me a message if you don't know what you're doing, and we'll try to get as many as y'all talking as possible. I'm gonna move on to Chaz. Kai, I see you requesting. I'm gonna get you up here, and then we're gonna get Cullen up here. Chaz, what's up, bro?
Oh, what's the deal, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm all right, bro. We 5 years, bro. Ain't nothing. Ain't enough change, huh?
Yeah, bro, they can't erase what we was, bro. Shout out to shout out to Flip, Kyle. I see Kai and that was a deal. My dog for Lauren and shout out to everybody, man. L, I just talked to L, Sister Rocky, Charles, all the OGs. Trey, what's the deal? Bro, I think you presented a hell of a question when you mentioned their street perspectives. Personally, I think it's all about what you're willing to recognize as an improvement because there are a ton of things that have gotten better, but it's in my opinion, it's hard to overcome just not wanting these motherfuckers here in the first place, and that's the crux of the argument. Like the crux of the argument, in my opinion, is I don't like how they were hired. So some of the improvements are going to be discounted to a degree. Like, for example, got a new coach, new coaching staff. We even talked about Casey Hill ad nauseum over the years, but you got a new coach, new coaching staff, new medical people brought in, and even all the things we know that have went on behind the scenes. When you talk to people now who are more at liberty to say things because they may not work directly for the team, some of it was even worse than we could have imagined. Like so, there's been a there's certainly been some things trending in the right direction, but of course there's been mistakes along the way. We already know about the infamous trade, which I wasn't a fan of. Wasn't a fan of the Indiana trade either. I think the pool thing kind of balances out to a wash. But I think this off season, the lack of roster activity has people kind of on pins and needles compared to last off season, to where it seemed like they came out of the gates firing. But it's like you could say, well, fuck, last off season they did everything wrong. This off season, they're attacking the staff and taking a more patient, methodical approach, but nothing really. You're not gonna really have the answers until you see the product on the floor, in my opinion, because ultimately that's what matters the most. I think with the Will situation, not even Will, just this is new, like this to be real, son. Like Chris, we've been doing this for a little minute now. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you cover the Pelicans, you'll get there. There are some national opportunities. There are some things, some branding opportunities to extend your brand. But you really have to go above and beyond to acquire said opportunities because just being real, this is not a basketball market. It isn't. Like, and that's what it boils down to. Like, people try to compare what Nick Underhill does to the athletic or like a basketball equivalent, and it's like, well, no, like the NFL is a much bigger market. People who follow the NFL in the 10 games and things of that nature, especially for like prestige organizations, they tend to have more money than like basketball people. Like you can get into a Pelicans game for like $10 fucking. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's been this way for years. So I think people kind of just be honest, as a professional complainer, people just find the reasons to bitch and moan. I ain't gonna hold you, son. Like a lot of it is just a lot of it is bitching and moaning. I can't even lie to you, son. Like keeping it a dollar. When the last time you heard about Big Shot that wasn't the soda? When the last time you heard about it? It's been months. It's been months. No, it happened. Nobody cares anymore. So it's like the worst place you could be, in my opinion, is in a position where everything you do is wrong because there's well, I'm saying people feel like anything you do is wrong because there's two ways you'll react to that. One, you'll be scared to do anything out of fear of blowback or backlash rather, or you'll be like, man, fuck them, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do and you just gonna have to deal with it, and that's a dangerous place to be.
Say Chaz. I don't mean to interrupt. You said fear of what? Again, I apologize.
Boy, I was about to call that out. I ain't
What
know
you
if we
said,
were still
Chaz?
on the same
Fear of what?
timing. Chad
y'all
is
y'all
down
think
bad for that.
y'all think blowback is a pass or pause?
I mean, no. I just wanted to make sure I heard it right. Nah, go
Yeah,
ahead
yeah,
though. Go ahead.
yeah. Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
ain't say yeah. Well,
I
pardon me.
told you I'm rusty, bro. I'm rusty.
That is definitely pause worthy,
Yeah,
Chad.
but
Chris ain't gonna say it. He rusty, but that was so pause worthy till it wasn't even funny. I almost gasped and threw my phone.
well, you know what?
go ahead, bro.
Good luck with that, brother. But yeah, pardon me, my bad, y'all. But yeah, I think just based on some of the things that we've heard behind the scenes, it's like some shit wasn't even a real possibility. Some shit is a possibility, but it's going to be some major backlash to it because it involves some of people's favorite names. It just, I just don't think, honestly, I don't think some of the coverage of the team from a national perspective, especially, is playing fair. That's just my perspective. Chris, I'm not sure how you feel about that. Do you think everything's being covered down the middle and fairly?
No, and you know what? And I think when you have a bad reputation or a reputation that's shaky, and you coming off of back to back bad seasons, like partially that's what come with it, right? Um, like me and you talked about how like there's a level of like honesty and like forthright mm, forthright truth that taking a position like this you kind of gotta have because you already
Hmm.
against the A ball to where people ain't giving you like the benefit of the doubt. So to me, that's almost part of the gig. That's almost part of the position until you prove wrong. I don't know if that's fair because it's like, yeah, you might be in a situation, Chaz, to where no matter what they do, they get complained. They either call too safe or they call too aggressive. But that's why I'm curious, like how much of this for people is about the basketball and how much of this is about the other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Is it strictly about what's on the floor, or is it about a lot of stuff that I've been seeing going around today, including like ticket sales and concessions and the and entertainments and
yo,
creativity and all of that. How much is it about the game?
you know, I think you raised an excellent point because we already know Rocky traveling from Mississippi. L season ticket holder Ryan make his own jerseys for Lauren in the building. Like Kai, as long as they giving hats away, Kai gonna be in that motherfucking mix. Like we already know like they got real people in the building. But truthfully, I like again, and they go back to the Will shit, bro. It's like shout out to my dog Lonnie. Shout out to everybody in here, man. Make sure y'all share the space. Like truthfully, it's like, bruh, if you win, people may come. But I also think like shitting on the Pelicans is kind of like the cool thing to do right now. So it's like the low hanging fruit. I don't really think motherfuckers care either way. Like if the Pelicans start off the season, maybe they win 10 games in a like that's to say they start off 10-0. I ain't anticipating no sellouts or nothing along those lines. Like you get what I'm saying? I think some people just not gonna buy the product you're selling no matter what. And that's something you have to deal with. And I also think that it gets to a point where are we talking about Gale? Are we talking about the front office? Are we talking about Lauscher? Are we talking about Bensel? Who are you blaming in particular for this? Because sometimes the lines get blurred with the blame pie. Because if I'm Joe Dumas, I'm like, bitch, I just got here. Like, you talking about we haven't done this in 20 years, nigga? I've been here about a year. Like, what that got to do with me?
Chad,
What's up, right?
Chad, can I play devil's
For sure.
advocate right quick? Because you said something that really like stood
Mm-hmm.
out for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
ticket sales, they season tickets dropped probably I say 30%.
Sa-
Um,
Sales
across the
or
board.
prices?
I don't know
Oh, that's
the
that's pretty
price.
good.
My seat. It is. It is. I mean, it is for the fan if you want to buy a ticket, but it's not for the organization, right? Um, but um, I want to push back on you said if they won 10 games straight, would people pack the building? When this team was on that little stretch of success for that one good real season, right? that arena was packed the fuck up. If you put something, and I firmly believe this, and I feel this way about both organizations. If you put a product that is worthy of me spending my money on, well, I can't say my money because I'm spending my money regardless. But for other people, if it's worthy for them to spend their money on and they feel like they're gonna get something from it, and I'm not just giving Gail some of my money, then people gonna show up. Like if they put a product on the court that's worth watching, people gonna show up because they did when we was on that playoff little run, and and shit, even the beginning of the play-in runs, you know, the seats was filling up. It was packed in that bitch, but they not giving something worth going to watch. And here's one more thing, and then I'm gonna give you mic back. Um, then you said, is it Joe Dumars or is it Gail? I'm gonna agree with you here. A lot of the comments that I've seen across the board have been very negative towards Joe Dumars, as if people were expecting him to come in and make a fucking miracle in a city of lost basketball, right? I don't put no blame on Joe Dumars. No, I'm not gonna say I'll put no blame because this lack of right, right, this lack of movement this off season is ridiculous. But the blame has to go to Dennis, Gail, the upper management. It has to sit in their lap, period, pause. Because the gross mismanagement comes from them. It don't matter who you hire. If you're not willing to spend no fucking money to put a product up, you ain't gonna get nothing anyways. And even if you do, if you so careless to what's being displayed and you don't really have a bone in the fucking fight to fucking say, hey yo, yeah, we're not gonna tolerate this, or we're gonna stand, shit, there's no direction coming from there. It's like, hey, here's the money. This is the limit. This is what you spend. This is what I'm not going to do. And have fun, Joe. And holler at me when it's a beneficial product. That's it. And I don't care what she wants to say. She ain't as invested in Pelicans basketball as she is in New Orleans Saints football. And that's rightfully so. Like you said, the football program, it's a football city. It's more money, in the football arena than it is in the basketball arena. But I fought Gail for it not being the money that she want to generate, because she don't do shit to generate the money in the basketball aspect. Like plenty of people have been saying, we're going on year 25. Unfortunately, still in the fucking Smoothie King Center, but we're going on year 25 of Pelicans basketball, Hornets, Pelicans, whatever you want to say, right? They don't have a motherfucking thing. They keep sending me text messages trying to get me to buy $5,800 seats for Saints games. I have Pelicans season tickets. I don't even have you. Where is the fucking 25th anniversary celebrations? Where are the 25th anniversary shirts, hats, memorabilia, shit that people want to go and rep their fucking team? They don't
Now
got
we
none.
not see
Doing a
now
motherfucking
now Rock
huh?
now we getting to the other side of things. 'Cause that's why I asked. And look, I'm gonna get back to you. And I want you to finish what you're saying right now. But I got some other speakers up here. But that goes back to my question earlier, right? What you just said right there, right, about it being 25 years, about jersey retirements, about so many other things outside of the game. Is it just about basketball? Or is it just about some of the other elements? I thought that was a really good point that you brought up there. So finish what you're saying, so I can move. So I can move on. I know Chaz got he got a rebuttal. I got to move to Kai and Garrison and some other people up here too. Go ahead.
Well, my basic comment is, if she don't give a fuck and she ain't showing she give a fuck, it's hard to make the fans give a fuck. And 25 years and you don't do nothing, no announcement, no nothing, no preparations, no selling the fans on celebrating 25 years of Pelicans basketball, then the ball was dropped before she even passed it to Dumas, and that's all on upper management fault and nowhere near Joe Dumas' fucking pay scale. That's it.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Chad.
I totally agree, bro. I think it's interesting though. Like I don't like it's so much we could really say, and I don't even know if we really will even have the time allotted to get into like the depths of the conversation because like if we even if we go back to when the spaces initially began with Chris when we went down there for the postseason, it's like, bro, you saw people in that building you never saw during the regular season. You probably never saw them motherfuckers again. And so it kind of if you're the Pelicans, just being realistic, is like when you talk about paying the taxes, like for which team would you have paid the tax for? Like if you think about it from that perspective, or if you say, well, I'm going to update this arena, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to get some new seats in this bitch, and it's like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna put these new seats in the buildings and still have to black out the top of the arena because it's like nobody in this bitch. It looked like a Connect Four board in the arena. Like it's so many like different ways to look at it. It's like my opinion on this is like, look, it's not a sexy market for basketball. I do think if the team wins in the latter half of the year, well, I'm sorry, post football season, that's when you'll start seeing people kind of pool in and start paying attention. But last season, I mean, of course, this is exhaustion from two bad seasons, but you had LeBron and Luca in the building. You could have showed up right before tip off and sat anywhere you wanted. That shit was bald head like a motherfucker. And I think that's just the reality of the situation. I just think, you know, like we interested, we committed, we locked in, but it's just us. Like the casual fan still just not interested until the team is consistently having success, and even then they may not come until there's nothing else to do in the city. Like that's just my perspective. I think that's some of the reason you see a bit of a lack of financial investment.
Fair enough. Well said, Chaz. Well said, Rocky. I want to get Kai up here. One of the OGs, and when we first started this. I hope you got your hat on, bro. 'Cause look, y- I want to hear, like, I'm curious if I'm hearing on one side this is the situation where so much of this is like results driven. If the Pelicans win, people will show up and they'll stop complaining, and it'll be a domino effect. And then there's others, that say, well, the result shouldn't get in front of the business that much. It has nothing to do with your creativity. It has nothing to do with what presentation you present, what you send out to your ticket season holders, some of the errors and mistakes that you make. But more and more, I'm hearing, Kai, more people talk about it just simply being about results. Do you think it's that simple, Kai? Like, let's say they're able, if you are a believer that the front office is a problem and you believe ownership is a problem, if the team is able to persevere and you get another 49 win season, and you get a couple, or you get the Chris Paul type run, how much is forgiven?
First of all, I'm not saying let's go Pels because I'm on strike until next July the 1st. And Chad, I'm not getting a hat this year. I'm not doing. I'm on strike. Okay, they
We
blocked.
don't
I'm
believe
on
you,
strike.
Kai. We don't believe you.
I'm not. I'm on strike. Okay, strike. I mean, winning always fixes everything, but how are you gonna win? You gotta want to win though, bruh. And I mean, if you've been paying attention to Twitter today, you've been having perspective from people who have kind of access, and also people like a former player. Like been paying attention to Solomon Hill. He was a former player. He might have been in that building in a while, but he been around those same people who's up top in that building. And he's been giving you perspective on what's going on there and what the priorities are. I think what you call him Kushner, he had a great point about how the organization, the Pelicans are just kind of to what Chad's point. The Pelicans are just something for people in New Orleans to do, and about how like Gail wants the team to just be something for people to do. Like, oh, okay, I'm about to give like example, right? Do any of y'all know who Peggy Wilson was? Okay, Peggy Wilson was a council person in New Orleans a long time ago, right? Peggy Wilson was the only, she always was the only Republican council person in New Orleans because she represented the lakefront, right? For years, just like in the 80s and 90s. Well, anytime like Jim Singleton or anybody in the other Congress people would like try to legislate something, like get money to Nord or whatever, just do anything. Peggy Wilson would always go on these rants about welfare queens, right? It was like in the late 80s, early 90s. She always talk about welfare queens, right? Reagan shit, right? Okay, so by the time this in the Gale. So Gail Benson doesn't really give anything towards the NBA. She doesn't pay the tax. She gets money from the she gets money from she get all her money from tax teams, right? From paying tax. She gets money from TV. She get money from the state. She get money from tax team, state sponsorships. She's constantly taking and taking and taking everything. She's not giving anything towards the league. Gail Benson is a welfare queen. And I know some of y'all gonna be like, that's misogyny. But you know what? Hey man, I saw people, if this was time, he'll be getting dragged too, okay? She's a welfare queen. That's what she is. She's a taker. She's not putting anything in her. Gail Benson got Tom Benson to buy this team because it's like a status symbol. It means something to own a professional team, particularly a professional team in the South. Because think about it, a lot of teams that like a lot of states in the South don't have professional teams. Arkansas don't have a professional team. Mississippi don't. Alabama don't. South Carolina don't. Kentucky don't. Um, Let me see what else. State Virginia don't have a professional team, even though they got DC. But you kind of getting my point. It's a status symbol. Like Gail Benson can hold that up. Like, look, I own both of the professional teams in this state. So anytime something go on, you got to come talk to me. The governors, state people, like any politician, anything, she got to be involved in it because there's a status symbol. She holds that. They have something happen with like a ball or something with the Mardi Gras stuff, whatever. Anything happens, you got to come because, she got that status symbol. That woman's not interested in building, like putting forth anything to have success on the court like that. And I understand what Chad's saying. Chad's like, yo, why would I pay the tax for this stuff? Why would I pay the tax for this stuff? And it's like, you know why you pay the tax for this stuff? Because who gives a fuck? You're not losing money. No professional team actually loses money, bruh. And that's one of the reasons why I'm on strike. Because after that Jalen not trading for Jalen Brown shit, I don't give a fuck if he don't want to come in. He's under contract. You trade for him and you get him down. I don't care if it's 2 years. You get him down here and you just put the money in front of him and shut him up, okay? You go get him, all right? That. Don't get me started on it. That pissed me off, all right? You gonna sit up talking about, oh, he don't want to be a will man. I don't get. We won 29 fucking games. You won 29 games. That means somebody got to fucking go. You got to send her, send her. You got to send Trey, send Trey. You got to send Zion, send Zion. I don't care. Somebody got to go. Hell, I love her. Her, my guy. Man, you should be trying to trade her. Like this like who gives a fuck? Because you like people. You know what I like more than people? Winning. I like winning more than I like people. Okay? This is ridiculous what they're doing, bro. And the thing with Joe is like, I want to be optimistic about Joe. I like giving people chances. I really do. But like, Joe came here and like, Joe, I honestly, I thought Joe was gonna come here and Joe was gonna be like, man, like when he made that trade, even though I didn't agree with the Queen trade, I immediately thought, okay, man, you bringing in these two rookies, that's your guys. All the rest of them boys gone. I'm thinking, all right, man, you're gonna move guys out. We're gonna open up stuff so that guys can have runways. We didn't do that, dog. Like, I mean, you like I think Chaz and Elvin was talking about something on the show about, counting on growth from Fears and Queen, right? dog, how they gonna play? They're not gonna start. Like, well, if they are gonna like who how? Like where are they minutes at? They gonna be bench dudes, bro. And you get better playing basketball by playing basketball. Them dudes need run. What are we doing? We got people in front of them, but you're trying to win. And it's like I just don't understand what you're doing. This makes no sense what they're doing because how are you like you're not helping Queen? How are you helping Queen? Because obviously we watch Queen play, and when we see Queen, he has to be the focal point of this thing. He need the ball in his hand because he's a good passer and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the ball stuff around him. So how are you gonna do that when you still got Zion there and you still got Murray there? And but you need a center to play with Queen because Queen's not really a center. But then you got Fears there, and it's like, well, Fears not gonna start. You're not gonna bench Murray. So like, I just don't like basketball wise. I just don't see the actual like you're counting on too much growth and too much just leap from dudes. You won 29 games, dog. If Jamal Mosley somehow turned his 29 win team to a 42 win game 42 win team, he's Larry fucking Brown. Because that doesn't happen in the NBA, bro. It doesn't. Like you're like they're like Joe's going against history, and it's like I'm like I would love for this team to win games, but it's like this it can't happen because you all right. People talk about well they was hurt last year. No, the only person that was really hurt last year was Murray. You still got 60 some games from Trey and Zion, and the best you could do is 29 wins, bro. That's a problem. That is a big problem. Because if you're telling me one of these dudes are a star, one of them, and the best you can do is 29 games, 29 wins, hey man, they don't need to be here. I'm sorry, like I like Trey. I mean, y'all know how I feel about Zion. I like Trey. They don't need to be here, bro, because it's like, what the hell? And then the problem is, and then another problem you run into is with the Zion situation. I mean, he's still kind of your best player, but they don't want to move him because he's their best player. But it's like, it's time. You got to just move him, bro. You got to just cut that cord. And you just got to just look. If they went with the pet of Fears and Queen, I don't think, honestly, bro, I don't think there would be this apathy in the fan base, bro. I really believe it. I don't think people would be complaining as much if they just, bruh, if they got rid of Zion and they just went, we gonna do this Fears and we gonna do this Queen thing. Now, if they get rid of Zion, they're gonna be bad. We know that. But I think if they did that and they really went into a rebuild, I don't think it's like you show and it's like just a little increment progress. I think people would be fine. I really believe this, dude. That's how I feel. I believe this. But the main thing with that team, bro, is just that it's an ownership thing, bro. It's like little simple stuff. Like I always go back to when Trey Murphy was on that Jeff Teague podcast, and Jeff Teague was talking about this like one of the best things about the first time he got to the NBA. And Jeff Teague was talking about how, man, I was with the Hawks and I was able to take all the Gatorade I wanted home. And it was like they all laughing about it. And Trey Murphy, and he was like, man, you don't be and Jeff T looking at Trey Murphy like, man, you don't be doing that. And Trey Murphy looked at him like, nah, man, we don't get to take packs of Gatorades home. And it's like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I know that sounds crazy. Like, man, they rich. Like, why should that matter? Like, little stuff like that matters, bro. It's like stuff like I know that sounds crazy. Like, dudes get free Gatorade, but it's like that matter. Like, dudes talk about that little bitty stuff like that matters. How you treat like the families, bro. Like how you treat the players' families, how you the medical situation, how you invest into the medical situation. That stuff matters, bro. Dudes talk about this stuff. Dudes talk about the type of food you give them in the training facility. People have complained. People have complained about that. It's like it's so much stuff that you got to be willing when you're an owner of a professional team, bro. There aren't that many owners, right? There aren't that many chances of doing this, right? But when you got one, you ain't doing it to make money. Cause you know why? Cause you're gonna always make money. You will never not make money. You know why you would never not make money? Because whatever state you are located in, the state gonna want that professional team there, and they're gonna bend over backwards to make sure you make money, to make sure you have it. Always. What's going on in Portland right now? Them people in Portland, Oregon, they're gonna bend over to make sure that owner in Portland get what he want. All right.
Kai, you got
I,
about
I,
one
oh, okay.
more bend over before I
One
get a
more
little.
minute.
It's
I just
nine
got
forty
one more
five.
thing to say. All right, all right.
Go ahead.
But just saying it. But that organization, bro, it has to be ran better. We got people in here that have been in there. We got Will in here. We got DJ. We got all these dudes that have been around that organization. They know when any comparison that man, the Pelicans are ran like the Donald Sterling Clippers, bro. That's what they are. They're ran like the Donald Sterling Clippers. That
That's how
that
you land in the play. That's how you end it.
yep. They're the Donald Sterling Clippers. That's who they are. And if you ever been, and I've been to a Clippers game at the Los Angeles on Coliseum, the arena, because when I used to go to LA, my family, like my cousin, my uncle, he was poor, so we
uh-huh.
couldn't go to the Lakers game, so he take me to the Clippers game. And bruh, they are the Donald Sterling Clippers. That's all
All
I
right,
got.
all right,
I ain't going
Kai.
back. I ain't getting the hat, Chaz. I ain't
Uh,
getting the hat. They blocked.
all right, man.
Kai,
Kai,
no
appreciate it, man.
Disneyland for Kai.
Oh, man.
Yo, Chris, can I just say something real quick, bro?
Go ahead, man, because I got a lot of
Uh,
hands up here.
yeah,
Gotta
this
keep
60
moving.
seconds. I say
Go
this,
ahead.
Kai. I agree with you for the most part, bro. A couple things I say. First, I don't. The family aside, like I care about the players' families. I'm not tripping on no $20 million nigga crying about getting no Rice Krispie treats. Bitch, I pay you to go play basketball. You got per diem when you travel. I'm like, go handle that on your own time. Like, it's like an ugly broad complaining about me not taking her nowhere. Bitch, you're ugly. Go out and deliver. Once you deliver, we could do all these nice things. Once you start showing up and delivering, once we get the deliverables, we start winning some games. It'll be like, you know what? Yeah, you pick out whatever dress you want. What color dress you want? No, things gonna change. But this nigga Solomon Hill, nobody want to be honest. I'ma be honest. That nigga stole $11 million from me personally. That nigga took my motherfucking money. And that nigga used to be on Twitter bragging every year about robbing the Pelicans. You had the fourth pick. You had to trade the fourth pick to get rid of his bum ass. And niggas on here taking this man seriously. This nigga had a cup of coffee in New Orleans. That nigga was a bum. That nigga was not good at all. That nigga was trash. He was trash and with the Pacers. He was trash in New Orleans. That nigga career ended once he left here. That nigga pulled a heist. That nigga robbed you and then complained about your security system. The nerve of a nigga. That nigga's trash. Then he talking this shit. Tony Allen was a real deal nigga when he came to the Pelicans. He got the right to complain. I don't give a fuck with no fly by night ass nigga complaining about. Man, go sit down somewhere. When you get paid that much money, you the motherfucking help. You should be bringing food here for your teammates. Go get a motherfucking box special. KFC got a $10, 10-piece Tuesdays or whatever. You feed everybody. Nigga, you rich, ain't you? You rich.
McKenzie's chicken.
Yeah, go to McKenzie's, bitch. You know what? Go to Brothers. Go
Shout
to
out to
Brothers
Mackenzie.
on your way here. Shout out to McKenzie's. Go to Brothers on your way here. All that crying and shit. Man, move on, man. That was you ain't getting no new hoes yet. Move on. Why you still crying? God
Retired David
damn.
West jersey
Yeah,
this year.
No,
yeah. You
damn,
got
nigga was like 10 years ago, bro. Move on. Word about the old days. Guess what, Solomon? They the old days. Get a job, Solomon. Get a job now. Now you one of us. You a regular person. All that crying and shit. Nigga, go on about your business.
Solomon Hill. You more than welcome to come up here and respond to any of the comments, whether it's about
Yeah, you ain't
chicken.
got nothing else to do.
Yeah. Whether it's about chicken, security systems, or money, you more than welcome to come up here and respond and retort. I'm gonna move on to to Garrison here, man. Garrison, I mean, you kind of heard a little bit of we've been talking. part of it being basketball, part of being the business side. Like, what's your opinion on the state right now of the Pelicans and what I've been trying to what I'm personally trying to figure out why I put this together. Can it get better? Yeah, and if so, how?
Yeah. Can you hear me good? Am I coming through?
I okay. Yeah. I
All
can hear
right,
you.
all right.
Go ahead.
All right, well, appreciate you
Pause.
hosting this.
Pause.
Huh? What's up? All right,
Go
I'll
go
just
go ahead, brother. Go
I'll
ahead.
just go ahead. That's a pretty loaded question, but I think, and it was kind of alluded to already, but I think for me is I think someone mentioned basketball or, the team is easy. It's easy and it feels good to pick on them and criticize their every move. But at the end of the day, you look at the basketball and what they have planned, and I'm trying to imagine myself what's their vision for the team, what's their vision for Fears and Queen. They do not have one. All right. They have done everything to draft two boomer bust prospects with a very bad developmental context. Everybody talks about, Queen and Zion, they can't play together. And that's entirely true. The defensive stuff and the rebounding stuff is really a big issue. But offensively, they're horrible together. I mean, Queen was a very interesting prospect. A lot of draft junkies really like the guy. He has a special kind of talent with the ball at his size. But you put him right next to Zion, and what does that lineup do well? So I think there's this misunderstanding of where this team should be going. And, you know, you draft Jeremiah Fears and then you trade for Jordan Poole. I mean, what good does that do for somebody like Jeremiah Fears who needs the time to learn from someone correct? And I'm not no shade on Jordan Poole, but he doesn't have anything to teach Jeremiah Fears respectfully. Like, they are not the same player. Them sharing the floor together is not a plus. That is only taking away. So my question is, they're not doing any moves right now because they're scared. They're scared because every single move they've done has been criticized, and rightfully so. And you know what? I think, people are saying they're not making any moves because they believe in this team. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think they're not making moves because they do not know what to do. They have two really interesting prospects. And, I was talking to somebody the other day about it. It's the Pelicans have so many problems that you don't even get to address the first world problem, which is, hey, if everything works out with Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, are these guys even like, what kind of playoff lineup could you put with them together? Fears is a smaller guard. Queen is a big who, you know, can't really rebound, can't protect the rim. He's a tweener. So there's not a lot you can accomplish. Not saying that, those guys' careers are doomed, and not saying they can't play together, but, that's a first world problem. And nobody in this space talks about it because there's so many other things to talk about. When they were looking to potentially move on from Trey Murphy, well, I have two thoughts on that. One is, you saw the way Derek Queen and Trey Murphy played together. You saw their synergy. That's a positive developmental partner for Derek Queen. That is not a negative. Zion is a negative. Now, I understand Trey is the greatest asset. He's going to get the most value. And so I can appreciate them saying, well, shoot, we really have to look at this and try to get a good price and move on. One, it's probably better for Trey anyway. Two, you can actually have a vision. You can have a 5-year plan. You can have a group and a young core of guys to, accomplish something down the road. They went off and hired Jamal Mosley on a 5-year deal. Jamal Mosley is not going to do anything for Derek Queen offensively. The only positive for Jeremiah Fears is God Shamgod. He did a lot of great work with Anthony Black, and I can appreciate, what the fruits of that will be. But man, there are so many basketball problems. So, I think there's criticism on Gale, and that's fair. And Joe Dumars has only been here for 1 year. His group has only been here for 1 year, but 1 year, and they've yet to establish a direction. They have yet to plant their flag in the ground and say, I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to try to be competitive, and I'm going to try to hang around the play-in and be relatively interesting because I have a lot of talented players. Or, hey, I'm going to play the long game on this. We have the rope to do so. And They have yet to pick a side, and I think they're frozen because they don't know what this is. Troy Weaver and Joe Dumars, I don't think they have a modern, and I'm not trying to, not give them any credit. I'm sure they know a ton of stuff, but it doesn't seem like they understand modern like basketball lineups. And I don't think they understand, hey, you know, here's what we're going to be and here's what we're going to do well. You know, I think Detroit does really well, and that, some of Detroit's success can be attributed to Troy. I think, he made some draft picks, and that's great. He made some, obviously no draft picks are obvious, but that's a high turnover forcing, strong rebounding, really solid half court defensive team who struggles on the other end of the floor. And you saw it. And you look at the Pelicans and what the next 1 or 2 years could be, regardless if they move on from Herb, regardless if they move on from Trey. It's like, what are they trying to do? What kind of team are they trying to create? I know what Atlanta's trying to create. I know what Boston's trying to create. I know even what Phoenix is trying to create when they brought in Jordan Ott. They said, we're going to be a high ball pressure team and we're going to, squeeze the life out of people. We're going to shoot a lot of threes. There's no direction on team building in this. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is like, man, how did that become a first world problem? The basketball of it all not being, not even being able to define what it is or what it could be.
Appreciate that, Garrison. I'm gonna go to Cullen, and then I'm gonna go to Alvin Everett. I see you in here, Rocky. I appreciate you signing out. Cullen, based off of what Garrison said and what Kai said as well, do you think if the Pelicans chose, if you felt like it was clear that the Pelicans chose a direction, I won't say necessarily your optimism, but do you think others would be behind the franchise a little bit more if they knew which route they were going, whether that's the youth movement or just going with your second round picks and your first round picks over the past couple of years, or even if that's holding on to a trade, maybe getting rid of the old and moving on with the new, or if they kept the roster they have in place right now and they maybe made and Kai's upset that they didn't trade for Jalen Brown. But do you think part of the biggest issue right now is that people don't know what they're buying when they subscribe or they're going to a Pelicans game right now because they can't tell you what direction the team is going in?
I don't even know what Gail Benson is thinking right now. Like, can she make her mind up? Like, do something for the fans. Like, don't make the fans do something and try to get the fans involved. Like, she needs to be more put out to the organization, have more promotion nights, have more parties. None of that has happened since Zion's been the first pick in the draft. There's a big party at Roost Chris. Nothing since that. I need her to be more involved. If not, sell the franchise, get Todd Grace to buy it, make him run it, make him more energized to bring something passionable to the fans of New Orleans. I need more stuff like that. I need people to be at the games. I need more watch parties. I need more. Just bring something better than being an organization sitting on our ass and being quiet. We need moves. We need to get better. We have a 29-win team that's a coach is not going to make a big difference, maybe 5 wins if we're healthy. I just don't like the way it's going right now. I need to see something better. She only cares about the Saints. She has Champion Square. She does nothing with it during Pelicans game days. I need more tailgates. I need everything. It's, it's
Cullen,
horrible.
Cullen, Cullen sound like he got a. Well, that I ain't about to say. He sound like he about to rob somebody. That was I did. Yeah. Oh, shout out to you, Cullen, man. Man, y'all tap in with the young boy, man. You putting out some really good content, man. The youngest in the space right now. Know it's a good word. Alvin, what's up, bro? Charles, I see you.
What,
Everett, I see you. Pelicans flag, I see you. I'm gonna get to you. Alvin,
what
what's up, bro?
what's good, bro? How you doing this evening?
Hey man, I'm good, bro. I'm back at home where it all started, man. This is no, this been all right. I mean, it's something I thought was gonna be an hour, and I look up and it's already been an hour.
You
You know how it
you
go.
already know when you start the spaces. That's how I go. That's why
Yeah,
I'm gonna be quick if you don't mind. Pause.
go. No,
So
Jesus Christ, go
yeah,
ahead, bro.
you know I'm good for those. I'm good for those. Pause
Wait,
again. Yeah, pause again.
just make it worse and worse. Dog,
Yeah,
go
that
ahead.
don't listen, bro. I'm age appropriate with fuck the pause. But I'm kind of if every first off, when I look through the people that's in the spaces, bro, it's beautiful to see all of these people that create some form of content for the Pelicans, like in the same space. That shit though, like retro pels. obviously Boo Crew, all of the people that like put their shows out and whatnot that's in the space right now. That's absolutely fantastic to have this kind of group of people together being able to give their opinions and whatnot. So with that being said, I kind of want to go a completely different route than what everybody's saying. I'm solution based, right? And what I kind of want to do is I am not going to go the aspect of talking about like the team per se, because we do enough of that on our shows. Everybody talk about details and what can be done and all of that. Where I'm at is, and I think about it is, do you know the difference between the Pelicans and say like LSU, or even if you want to go to professional, the Pelicans and say like the Saints, right? It's the fandom, their fandom and their undying support for that fucking team. If LSU good, bad, indifferent, those people gonna be at the games. Saints good, bad, indifferent, no matter what. And listen, I know it sounds like bullshit to a degree, but I'm going this route. Good, bad, indifferent. Those people are in the games supporting whoever they. That's how you create. So what I'm going for is you got to create the fucking culture that you want to see. You gotta be a part of like fans gotta be a part of creating the motherfucking culture that you want to see. When the stands are like half fucking empty, I wouldn't want to play either. If you in high school and you go to high school and the high school game empty, that team don't necessarily perform as well as if it's packed, right? If it's easy to get down when it's empty in the motherfucking stands. So if you want to complain about, man, the team ain't performing, get your ass out there and go either cheer, pack the stands and encourage that team, encourage those players. See, the reason CJ McCollum even wanted to be a part of the Pelicans organization to begin with is he remembered what that bitch was like when he was getting blown out and getting swept. And he came to the bitch was like, yo, DeJounte was another one. Was like, and I'm not saying DeJounte won't be here or not, but I'm saying when you had that energy going, you had other people looking at you and saying, oh, that's something I wouldn't mind being a part of. That's something I wouldn't mind building. But if the first fucking sign of things not looking right, you quick to get out, you know what I'm saying? Then why the fuck would I give up? Why would I care about your opinion? You ain't gonna do nothing anyway. You gonna come and go regardless. But again, the voices matter. We gotta be more. We've done enough as far as like people creating shows, people creating podcasts. Shout out to Retro Pals, bro. They playing your shit, you know what I'm saying, to end the games and whatnot. Like, dog, like let's embrace our city. When them people got behind Sacramento and had the whole light the beam wave and shit like that, that's how you create some of the change that you want to see. When the Saints were being bad and they wouldn't fire Dennis Allen and them fucking people kept showing up, bro, they refused to use Willie Green's name because they were afraid that the fans were going to be booing. Think about the amount of power that you have in those kinds of moments. So if we really want to be like a part of seeing them, like seeing it matter, like go pack the game out and then like have those dudes encouraged to be able to play. Have it not being okay to fucking quit. If ain't, it's like fuck, I don't care about quitting. Like again, I understand you getting paid and you all of that, but these dudes are like humans just like everybody else. You human just like everybody else, bro. You want to feel supported. You want to feel loved. You want to create that element in the city. That's another thing too. When people come to the dome, right? Like when the Saints are even when they not fucking rolling. The Saints were bad for a long time, but part of people being like, yo, you don't want to go play in the dome, bro. It's one of the toughest places to play is live. These motherfuckers ain't have defenses for years, but nobody wanted to come to the dome and play. You can create that atmosphere in the blender. Like let's get all on the same page and like start taking ownership of our own shit, right? Like again, when the spaces got created, that shit made change. If y'all had Kendrick Perkins all in the spaces, all on national media talking about, going like making an impact on the national level. Stephen A say shit about Zion and like people on Stephen A asked the way he gotta address it. He gotta address it on TV. So that goes to show you that the voice is there if we are consistent about the voice, right? And it can't be one of them things about like, oh, we could talk about them, but you can't talk about them. But fuck, we ain't out there truly supporting them anyway. right? When shit was booming, dog, shout out to Rel when Rel was doing Pels 12. You want watch parties? Boom, let's do watch parties. Let's have everybody show up. Let's have everybody pull our own weight and go out there and like support the team. Win, lose, or indifferent. And if they suck, we gonna be in that bitch loud as fuck, booing everybody. And you know what's worse? Constantly go having a bunch of people, thousands of people booing your team. That's how you make change. Like, so don't go hide like it's easy to hide and then like not get shit done. If we really want to do it, I truly believe that the fans, the fan base got power. Look at Dallas, bro. They traded Luka. Fans was damn near about to riot, and then everybody got fired. Everything was starting to change. So like you still have to. I think we have more power when we show up, and I think we have like again the roster's only gonna be so good, but at the same time you can't even maximize when you're not at the games. It's like, dog, again, if you're not there to kind of help support and be positive, not even be positive, even if you're going to be negative, but just be at the games. Make that shit a place that other teams don't want to come cakewalk in and play. That's how you start now building and whatnot and moving forward. So I'll kind of land my plane there. I don't really like for the fair weather fandom. We got a lot of great like organizations in Louisiana or whatever. Like LSU is fucking like, bro, you can't have LSU be one of the top places in the country for people to come play, and in the same state the Dome be one of the top places for people that like not want to travel to, but in the same city you can't get that same kind of support for the Pelicans, right? Come, let's go do our part, and then we'll see what it look like after that. That's kind of where I'm at, bro.
But
Appreciate y'all.
Alvin, before you go, and
Yes,
I'm a,
sir.
and Charles Everett Flop, I see you. I gotta ask you.
Yes.
You brought up. I partially agree with what you're saying. What I'm trying to figure out is what a lot of examples that we use, and I've even thought about them. How do you do that without consistent winning? Without people saying like when we're talking about the biggest claim to fame for watching the Pelicans, right? We're talking about a season where they won what 37 games or 39 games. They end up losing in the first round. And then we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about a 49 win team. And outside of those 2 years, you got a bunch of gaps. You got 2018 where you sweep the Blazers first round, and then you going back to being in the second round against almost 20 years ago now with Chris Paul. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I get what you're saying, and look, I'm all for the unity. I'm all for the solutions and everything. But what about what, talk to the people that feel like until I see some sort of level of consistency of winning, it's hard for me to invest because it doesn't feel like it's gonna be long before my time is wasted again.
But
Because
so.
that's what the history of 25 years, Alvin, that's
Mm-hmm.
been the consistency through different regimes. Make the playoffs, maybe get lucky and make the playoffs again, which hasn't happened much. Then we won't see the playoffs for a few more years after that. Get a first round pick, get a number one overall pick. 6 years they out. 6 years, like when you have that happen for 25 years, you become an afterthought. So in regards to the results, how are you fighting how are these people investing themselves? Maybe folks that ain't got the money to go to the game, folks that ain't
Mm-hmm.
got the time, folks that sacrifice the shit to show up to these games for a product that hasn't shown in 25 years now that it can be consistent and be worth their time.
I got a couple. Quick. I got a couple. One, I have a question. When the Saints had multiple years of being one of the worst organizations in the league, people were still supporting that. Now I get it, it's football, and football is king, especially in the South, so it's a little different, right? But the consistent thing, as far as when we was talking about, hey, the inconsistent years and whatnot, like you make the playoffs, you don't make the playoffs. Even in those years, the fandom was still inconsistent. So you see amongst other sports, like Like again, football. LSU again is different because it's college, but LSU could be terrible, and them fucking people still gonna be in there cheering no matter what happens. That's first. So my thing is sometimes you have to set your own standard. Like the fandom has to set their own standard, right? And if your standard is I'm not gonna be around until you're only good, that's kind of like, well, I'm only gonna go see my child when he's doing well. Like if y'all trash, I'm not going. It's like, well, no, bitch, you gotta be here for the highs and the lows. So we can like you can so you can hold them accountable and address it that way as well. If I'm only around when shit is cool, I really don't believe in you that way. Like I really don't fuck with you like that, to be honest. You really only come around when we up, and when we up is cool, but you not here when we down. Why would I prioritize your opinion? That's just kind of like, why would I take you serious? Like I more so look at it like a joke. So again, I get it where, and again, that's why I said this probably is like an unpopular opinion, but I get it for people that's like, man, look, unless you winning, I'm not going. Unless you trying, I'm not going. But if you're not trying, why the fuck would I try? That's just kind of like my thoughts on it. So as far as like how do you go about it, though, you support regardless. You do your part regardless. Like if you want to have a watch party, then go throw a watch party. I think you'll be able to get enough people together to watch the game. And for those people that don't want to support like now, and it's bad, don't get me wrong, you fucking think y'all gonna support a rebuild when you about to dedicate 5 years, 7 years to being bad? You damn sure not having. Let them say, listen, man, we building towards Jeremiah Fish, right? And then you go through this rebuild. And then 4 years down the line, guess what? These motherfuckers ain't good enough. Then we got to rebuild again. Then you got another 3-4 years. Then you got to rebuild. Dog, you'll fuck around and be a decade and you still ain't figuring it out. So people that's talking that we want to rebuild shit, you better go fucking check Washington and see how long Washington been rebuilding. That shit ain't like it's not fun winning 10 games, 14 games. People talk about Detroit. Nah, Detroit was bad for how long? When look, 25 game losing streaks. We tripping about 9 game losing streaks. So I'm just saying, like you can talk that rebuild shit, but it's a lot of ways for rebuilds to go wrong, and then you could really be out. And are you gonna support then? Probably not. You barely support now. So what I'm saying is, my thought is, let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's get in there and do the things that we want to see, and then let's move forward that way. Again, I put it this way, and I land the plane with this. I know I said it, but the Saints fans that's constantly supporting whether that team win or lose, that's why their voices matter. People be like, they give a fuck about the Saints. Yeah, because you at them games, and if they bad, bitch, we booing all game. We at your church asking you about it. We catch you in the grocery store, we asking you about it. Like at some point, that shit like borderline harassment, and we deserve to harass you. So if we treat if we treat the Pelicans with the same kind of energy, bro, if we treat the Pelicans with the same kind of energy, that's how you make a motherfucker care. It's like, yo, these people really care about the Pelicans. Like they at the games. They out like again, bro. You see, they'll make the change. Like, bro, they refuse to announce Willie Green like after games just because they were afraid that people was gonna boo. If you show up at the games and do your part, one, the players gonna be like, oh, bitch, just packed. Like normally you play better when you in front of a crowd, right? And you make it more intense for the opposing teams. You gotta do that shit. And then if they still not doing their part, guys, like this, look, I'm spending the money, I'm showing up, right? If you see the fans showing up, you can't say we not showing up and doing our part. Fuck, if y'all ain't showing up, why am I spending my money to give you a product that you care about? Nah, you show up, do your part, make it a priority, and then they gotta make it a priority. Because if not, bitch, I'm at the top of playing with my bread. I'm sorry. Appreciate y'all.
All right, Charles and then Pelican Flock and then Everett. Pelican Flock been up here for a little bit, man. So I got to get him up here ASAP. But it's been a minute. Charles, what's up, bro?
What's up, Chris, man? How y'all doing? Shout out to everybody. Chaz, Everett, I see y'all. Uh, It's good to be here. What's going down?
No, nothing much, man. I mean, you kind of took a sabbatical away from everybody, became a Nuggets fan, bro. Like, going against 100% what Alvin said, bro. Like, it just, I mean, you actually one of the people he talking about, bro. Like, you the
Yeah,
bad
I
fan he
look.
talking about.
I did the best I could. I bared my cross for as long as I could. 23 years. Um, I I
Charles,
feel
can you wait?
everything.
Wait, hold on. Can you tell somebody? Can you tell the people what makes someone after 23 years quit supporting a franchise?
I'm gonna tell you because and Alvin he laid it out because everything that he said I've seen, and this is like any conversation. Generational intersectionalities matter. Um, I'm at a different point of my fandom than other people. I've been riding for this team for 23 years. In the last 2 years, it's been too much for me. But I was on Hornets Report way back in the day. I'm talking all hours of the night. I was crafting Jamal McGlure for Vince Carter trades. I was trying to trade George Lynch and Speedy Claxton for a wing. I was in the building when the Lakers, came back when our first game in the arena after Katrina, when we was up, we should have won that game, and Kobe Bryant broke our heart. And watching them boys, go, win 24. They went 24-12 or something like that up in Oklahoma City, and they was trying to steal the team. And I was on message boards, in Oklahoma City dealing with them, and they talking about all kind of shit that they were saying about the city and they shouldn't rebuild. And I mean, the bullets that I've taken metaphorically for my fandom because I believed in. I mean, the shit kind of make me sad to think about because it was some real shit we was dealing with back in the day, and I was super optimistic when the Benson family purchased the Pelicans because I knew a couple of things. I knew the Saints wasn't going nowhere, so we tied our franchise to them. They're gonna be in New Orleans forever. I also knew, at the very least, it didn't matter what type of ownership they was, them the same jokers that hired Sean Payton. And Sean Payton brought in Drew Brees. Like, all you got to do is make one good hire and have your book straight enough just to be able to pay them, and anything can happen. But what I've seen over the last 13 years since that family has owned this team is it's been bare minimum. And when I say bare minimum, like you ride with the dude, you ride with Mickey Loomis no matter what. He can't do nothing wrong, but you can't seem to find somebody, even if they're not perfect. Like, if you would have hired Joe Dumars back in 2013 and we just skip Dale Demps and we just skip Griff and you just gave him the opportunity to just figure it out, give him the same job security that you give that dude, and maybe you just get lucky because you're there long enough to see a plan through. But all I see is like, well, we tried it for a couple years, and then it's like the suits start getting antsy, and then it's like, oh, we can't do that. It's like, first off, the business model is set up so that as long as you don't go into the tax, you're gonna end in the black. It doesn't matter how many people show up. Doesn't matter how many drinks they buy, how many parking passes, how many hats Kai buys. It doesn't matter. You're going to end up in the black because you're going to get a check from the league because all the other teams, the Nuggets are going to pay $177 million in luxury tax. Gail Benson, and it's crazy that man called Gail Benson a welfare queen. That's wild. Anyway, she's going to get a check from the Nuggets and the Thunder and the Knicks and the Celtics and all these teams that are paying not just dollar for dollar tax, but they're paying multiplier tax. So it's basically an interest-free loan. Typically, when you go into debt, you got to pay interest. You got to service the debt. Pause. Just so that you can stay afloat. All you got to do is make it to the end of the season. You're going to get a check. You're going to be fine. If we're on a budget, fine. Look, I've been broke before. We all been there. We've all cut up some grilled chicken and threw them in some ramen, or went to the $5 meal. It's fine. Like you can live a consistent life on a budget. We know that maybe basketball, from a corporate standpoint, and maybe even from a fandom standpoint in New Orleans, isn't necessarily going to be like the Lakers or the Knicks or whatever. No matter how bad they are, there's always going to be 25,000 people that want to go in and watch them play. That may not happen in New Orleans if the team is bad, but you can still set a course and say, this is what we're going to do. And the business model, people talk about the media and the way that we follow the game. Like, fans understand, hey, we own all our picks. Financially, we're straight. We don't got no bad contracts. We got a bunch of young dudes. They're young, they're exciting, they play hard, and maybe it'll turn into something. That's like, if you look at all the teams across all the major sports, that's like 30, 40% of teams. They're riding with that. That's the vision. We got this young dude, we got this young core. This is what we're trying to do. You can sell that. You don't necessarily have to be in a situation where you're trying to scramble to win 45 games every year so that you can get people. Like, we know what you're trying to do. But to Garrison's point, if you're a straight up basketball fan and you just look at this roster and you just look at what they're doing, what are they trying to do? Like, you look at Memphis. Memphis has rebuilt multiple times since we've started down this path. Houston has rebuilt multiple times. Phoenix was in the depths of all types of financial hell, and somehow they've managed to be one of the top 20 teams, which is all you need to do, mind you, to play basketball after the last regular season. You just got to be one of the top 20. Yet somehow the Pelicans find themselves in a situation where they have a payroll of a team that should be competing for like the 5th or 6th seed, if you're being honest, but they give you the results of a team that is struggling to try to figure out where they fit in. And it doesn't make sense. Like, why do we have both sets of problems? Why do I have the problems of a team that's stuck at 44 wins, and I have the roster of a team that is going to win 20 games every year? Like, you can easily set the agenda by just picking a lane. And this is what we're going to do. When I look at this roster and I look at a guy like Trey Murphy, okay, you want to keep Trey Murphy. You want to give him an opportunity to see how far he can take his game. Okay, why was Trey Murphy why was there any kind of smoke around a trade if the asking price was going to be gargantuan? Like, everybody knows that if someone, like, anybody can be traded, but you don't hear Jalen Brunson's name coming up in trade rumors. Yeah, there's a package out there that if the Knicks got it, they would probably consider it. But you don't have to say that because it's obvious. So why was I hearing, oh, well, the Pelicans want 3 picks and they want this and they want that? Like, that's an easy foot fault that you don't have to have. You got Jeremiah Fears. You got Derek Queen. You go out and you give Jamal Mosley a 5-year contract when everything about Jamal Mosley is defense, defense, defense. Yet you tell him, hey, by the way, everything is defense, but you got to take Jeremiah Fears, you got to take Derek Queen, and you got to take Zion Williamson. They got to be like 3 of the top players in your rotation. Just FYI. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you can't run a team like that You gotta align it. You gotta, if you wanted to get the best out of the roster, go get an offensive dude. If you wanted to really instill defensive principles, you got to turn some of these negatives on defense into positives. You got to get guys where maybe they're not there right now, but I can see the vision. You can sell that. And if you do that, I promise you, everything that Alvin said would be true. It would be easy to just fall in line, because if you're in here right now, you're a fan. You're the kind of person that will go buy tickets to see the vision play out. But there's no vision. And then you're going to give this dude a couple more years, and then he's going to want to do something controversial. He's going to want to trade, I don't know, he's going to want to trade Derek Queen, or he's going to want to trade Trey Murphy. And then someone's going to go to Gail and be like, I don't know, Gail. He probably shouldn't do that. And then the next thing that's going to happen is now Joe and Gail going to fall out, and she's going to fire him because whoever the person is in her ear, look, whoever you are, if you're out there and you can hear me, just tell Gail what she needs to do, and then back it up and give the person you hire the ability to go out and do the thing that you hired them to do. And if you're the Pelicans, you don't need to feel any kind of pressure. You can just, look, if you want to keep Joe Dumars for the next 10 years, fine. Just give him an opportunity. And this is from someone that thinks he's totally out of his depth. He doesn't know what he's doing. This is like the dude who came up for the idea for Barnes and Nobles to compete with modern day Amazon. Look, nobody goes to buy books like that. Like, they say 25 years is a generation. That means the last time Joe Dumars had success was a generation ago. Could you imagine if George W. Bush ran for president right now? We would laugh at him. Like, man, what are you doing? Go sit your old ass down somewhere and enjoy your retirement. But we gave this dude the keys. The game has been through 2 different iterations since you were last good. And there's no evidence that you understand on an intellectual or athletic level, even though you played, even though you're a wonderful human being. I mean, the damn citizenship award is named after you. There is no evidence that you actually understand how the game is played right now. Like, but even still, what I would say to Gail is, if you believe in the dude, don't give up on him the moment he comes to you and he says, hey, this is what I want to do, but it's going to cost you a couple ducats. I need that. That's what I would say.
Charles, I just want to say, you still care, bro. Come back home, bro. You still care. You still care. You can talk that different nugget shit all you want to, bro. You back here. You
Hey,
man,
I got
you got dumb, bro. You were breathing on heavy pause, bro. Ain't no way, bro.
I got Peyton Watson.
Fan,
I got
dog.
Peyton Watson alerts on my phone. As soon as that gets situated, I'm gonna go crazy.
Shout out to Charles, man. Got a chance to meet him in real life, along with a lot of other people in here, man. And look, I'm looking, bro. It's 92 people in here. Like, it's just similar to when we first started this, man. It's just another example, dog. Of like, it's people that really, they really care and don't want to bitch and complain. Some people do, but there are people that just don't want to complain. But to me, for the most, I say about 96, but 90% of the people, 90% of people just really want the team to figure it the fuck out. A lot of people want to put their blinders on and act like they don't see or know certain things about the organization or ownership or whatever because the team is doing well. A lot of people want to do that. But, that's why we're here. Pelicans flop, man. It's your turn, bro. I know you've been waiting for a little bit. My bad
Yeah.
on that.
No, you good. You good.
Give me your thoughts, man, and then I'm
Bro,
gonna get Everett up here. Go ahead.
I think a lot of y'all hit some pretty good stuff, but I mean, look, and not to call anybody out, but like just to piggyback off of what Alvin said, like look, I'm kind of with it. Like, you got to support, you got to stick with it, but this team has shown you time and time again that to an extent they just don't give a fuck. They don't. Gail Benson does not give a fuck about what you think about what she does at all. You got to make her care. Because, I mean, look at all these teams. That lady is worth $7 billion fucking dollars. Look it up. $7 million. And she gets a check from the league every year. All she care about is not losing money on that team. That's it. And hell, she can make money. That's great. She can feed her horses more hay. I mean, seriously. Like, why? I don't even know why we even need to entertain any other conversation other than that. She don't give a fuck. You either got to make her give a fuck or make her hate owning the team so much that she sells it. Okay, because that's your problem. You could talk about Joe Dumars, what they should do, what this, what that, why they signed this player, why they went and traded for this, why none of that matters when your ownership straight up doesn't give a fuck. Doesn't give a fuck. Like Shamit posted something up earlier today. It was like an old article where she said, "I don't know what else what anyone else wants me to do." What are we talking about? We want you to care, but you don't, and that's what it is. She hired Joe Dumars because Mickey Loomis was his friend, and they're all boys, and they all hang out, and that's fine. That's their crowd. That's it. That's it. You think she hired Joe Dumars because he's got a great basketball mind? No, because like we just talked about the fact that he's out. He's out of his prime. Y'all saw what he fucking left Detroit looking like. Like no other conversation fucking matters. That's it. So, and I love that we're passionate. I love that we want to do all this stuff, and we want to talk about, hey, what move should we make? You know, why did you do this? Why you want to criticize? You also want to, suggest and strategize on the team's behalf. You can do all that, but dog, we're not Memphis. We're not Minnesota. We're not any of these teams. We're the fucking New Orleans Pelicans. We suck. We suck. And we're talking about, oh, you guys still got to show up to the games, still support. Yo, we are one of the poorest fucking cities in this country. You want us to spend money for a billionaire who don't give a fuck about you. Like, point blank. If it wasn't ball, if we weren't talking ball, would you give that lady money? Fuck no, you wouldn't. You'd be like, why the fuck would I do that? Go support, but don't give the team your money. No, because she's not going to do anything with it. You can go there, go outside the arena, go stand outside the blender, go party out there. Don't go in there. Don't give them your money because they're showing you they don't give a fuck over and over and over again. We talk about missed windows on trading players. We talk about terrible trades we make. We talk about terrible signings. Like all of that. We can't manipulate the cap in a reasonable manner whatsoever. We talk about all that. Guess what? If you go stand outside the blender and you say, you know what, fuck you, we love this team, but we're not giving you our money, this is what you're missing out on. If you get a couple thousand people outside there, they're going to see, oh, shit, maybe we should start caring. And guess what? If you out there and you piss off Gail Benson enough and you piss off the ownership, the group enough, and you do this, you do that, and if you get so loud that they can't ignore you, then you have something. Everybody want the team to go to Ty Graves. Y'all are too optimistic because if she gonna sell that team, she ain't selling it to him. She's selling it to a equity group that's gonna do the same shit that they fucking tried pulling in Dallas. It's not gonna be someone who's gonna care about keeping the team here. I'm sorry. Respectfully, you gotta wait for the lady to die if you want something like that to happen, because whatever group's gonna come in is gonna bid out everybody else. So don't waste any of your energy on we should do this, we should move her, we should move Trey. No, make your owner care or make her get the fuck out. Like that's it. That is it. We're wasting our time talking about anything else. And I love it, and I love the passion, and I'm with it. But my entire life, we have sucked. We have sucked. I'm 20 years old, and we suck, bro. We suck. The highlight, like the highlight of my life, I know, no joke, the highlight of my life as a Pelicans fan is when I was like, however old the fuck I was in 2018 when I got to high five Boogie, Rondo, and AD when they were walking out. That's it. That's the highlight. That's it. There's nothing else. You could talk about the Suns. Yeah, that's great. But like, that's it, bro. Like, that's it. We suck. We suck. And teams are going to suck. And guess what? Bad teams can't fill arenas. You look at Golden State when they were hurt after they lost to the fucking Raptors in the finals. That whole next season, they could barely fill the fucking arena. Guess what? It's going to be that way because teams that suck don't fill the arenas. So don't talk to me about, oh, y'all got to stay out there. Y'all got to pack it up. You got to go out there. You got to support. You got to be loud. We're loud. We've shown time and time again we can be loud. I've seen Kushner fucking repost shit time and time again about, oh, like, look how loud we can be. From when we're all, I've seen the video over and over and over again. We're all in red. It's a playoff game. And the whole fucking stadium or the arena is fucking loud as fuck. And it looks great. Guess what? We suck. And we're going to keep sucking if you don't go out there and fucking do something about it. But don't sit here and do this shit where we talk about, oh, guys, what do we do? What do we do? Oh, my God. God, Joe Dumars is just so silly, man. Joe Dumars don't care about that job. He don't care about that job. He just hanging. He just there. It's something to do. And I got all the money in the world. You think he's doing it because he really want to be passionate about this shit? No, he just showed you oh my god. I can't. To an extent, I look. I've been on this Twitter arena for a little over a year now, and I love it, but I hate it because some of y'all are so smart and you just misdirect all of your energy on what we need to talk about. It's the ownership, and that's it. And look, to an extent, we could talk too much about the ownership, be bitching too much. Like when we're watching a game, we don't need to bitch about the ownership. But it's the off season. You can't talk about, oh, well, what's the front office going to do on moves? They ain't going to do shit. They're going to collect a check. That dude, look, craziest shit I've ever heard, called Gail Benson a welfare queen. He was right, though. That shit was crazy. But he was 100% right because that's all she want to do. She just want to pocket the money. It's status for her. If she sells the team, she looks like a buffoon. That's why she holds on to it. Tom had both the teams. She got both the teams. The media in New Orleans thinks it's cool that we have the strongest woman in sports. It's an ego thing if she gets rid of the team. She's going to hold it on until she dies, bro. So you got to make her care. You got to make her care. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. Just make her care. And that's all I got. That's all I got. I appreciate you giving me the time. Thank you so much. I love all y'all. I love everything y'all do. Y'all are great. Y'all are awesome. But really, we got to be talking about the serious shit, real life. Stop thinking about basketball and just think about the fact that you have a billionaire who don't give a fuck about you that is trying to manipulate you into giving her more money. It's ridiculous. That's what it is. It sucks. Sorry, you can't talk about ball anymore. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for your time. I love it here. Bye.
Man, is this
All right.
what in the Alex Jones fuck? Man, please. Nigga don't give a fuck about none of that. He talking about basketball. That's all that matters. You
You
hire
can talk
people.
about
Hold on,
basketball,
hold on,
but
hold on,
straight
hold on.
no, you can talk about basketball. That's ridiculous, bro, because you want us to show up and then just throw my money
No,
away for a team that's going to lose
Pelicans
night
like
and night again. It's
no.
All right,
ridiculous.
What
hold
you're
on, hold on,
saying
hold on, hold on,
makes
hold on,
something.
hold on,
I'm
hold
sorry. I'm sorry to interject. I apologize, Chris. With Pelicans flock is saying, I agree from that standpoint. It's like you can't blindly support a bad product. Totally agree. But I think it gets to a point where it's just like, well, bro, at the end of the day, you hire the people you hire. If they do a bad job, you fire them. If you sign the players you sign, motherfucker can't make a jump shot, you trade them or you let them walk in free agency. It kind of just gets to a point where the onus has to be on some of these guys we're acquiring, the players who aren't delivering, the coaching staff who isn't delivering. Like I know we talk a lot about, and I apologize to Evan and Dylan. I know we talk a lot about last season, 26 wins, and we talk about Mosley. But the fact of the matter is, when Mosley was initially hired in Orlando, that team improved every year by like double-digit wins up until this final year where Franz was hurt and Paolo was hurt and all that shit. So we talk about the 26 wins. We leave out the fact that shout out Muhammad Grindhouse. We leave out the fact that DeJounte was missing, for the most of the year recovering. We leave out the fact that Jordan Poole was getting DNPs. We leave out the fact that Herb had his worst career year. Zion had the lowest usage of his career. Trey had a cool year. Eve Meese didn't play much. Looney was a shell of himself. Um, just a number of factors. Like you lost 20 plus games in the fourth quarter after leading. Like there's a number of factors that even if you mildly corrected them, you're talking about a 36 win team. If you win half of those games you lost in the fourth quarter, that's a 36 win team right there, which isn't great. But mind you, again, this is without DeJounte. This is with two rookies starting. This is with a number of factors that, some were just bad luck. But I think we kind of lose perspective a little bit, focusing on Gale, because if we being real, New Orleans is not even a market that can support a professional NBA team. Not casually. Like basketball tends to be more of a lower income like support. Like shout out to Grindhouse. Memphis has a very passionate fan base, but they're with the Pelicans as far as attendance nearly every year. And no one's gonna say Memphis doesn't have a great product in that building, great fan base, and at one time a super excellent basketball team. Like, and I'm sure they'll continue to do well. But I think that people kind of miss the forest for the trees. That's what Elvin is saying and what other people are saying. Yes, ownership could absolutely be better. Yes, the fan base could absolutely be better as well. But people kind of acting like the arena just empty because the team is bad. It's like, nah, it's gonna be pretty empty no matter what happens. Just to be real, like, you know what I'm saying. That's just the fucking bottom line of it. Like, you know what I'm saying. Until the postseason come and you got that casual fan base and people coming from out of town like myself and Charles, etc., it's gonna be empty. Only person gonna be in that bitch is Everett, L, Rocky, and a couple more people. That shit gonna be ball head. I apologize, Chris.
Oh, good. All right, man. Everett, and then Dylan, and then my dog Fox up here, and then we got Herbs there. Everett, bro, it's been a minute. What's up, bro?
Yo, 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 what's good? Hey, man, shit. He was upset, wasn't he? Damn.
Well, look, well,
What-
look. I was about to ask you. I was about to ask you because it was kind of like
Good thing I'm
like
going
the
next,
energy.
Chris.
Well, that's why you here, because I want to know, like, if you had to pick, right? You could say it's probably a little bit of both, but if you had to pick, would you say you lean more towards Pelican flop view, or you lean more towards Alvin's view?
Um, Knowing me, so this is why when I was listening to Alvin, I understood exactly what he was saying. I agree and disagree with him at the same time because, like, I don't know if you know, but I stay up in Salt Lake City now, and Utah been trash for a long time. But you know the one thing they do, they ride or die for their damn team, no matter what, no matter how bad the damn Jazz be, they be in that damn stadium. Like I went over to Summer League, and they was in that bit packed. So I understood what Alvin's saying. Now it's kind of hard though to ask fans to show up for a team that or entertainment, because basketball is entertainment, where things ain't taken care of. I hear about it all the time. But they say the Smoothie King is what ranked 30th in the NBA for the quality of the stadium. Well, that's on ownership. But as fans, we should support our team regardless. Like when the Saints was bad, we still support them. So I understood what he was saying. Think about what's another team? Oh fuck! When was the last time the Cowboys been like good? Like before.
See, all right, Everett, hold on, because y'all not pissing me off with this. I gotta find another word to explain, but y'all,
We using the wrong sports and
yeah, well,
yeah,
no, not the wrong sports. It's that every comparison that I'm hearing, they all have a certain time that made those teams.
worth it. I know it's like Jazz. Utah
Yeah,
used to be
like
good back in the day. Yeah,
Utah got back to back, got back to back. Like they still have teams that are celebrated today, right? Like teams
agree.
that made
I
the
understand what
finals
you're
back.
saying.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah,
people bring
yeah.
up the Saints. The Saints got the Dome Patrol, and then they got the Breeze and Page
At
era.
one
You know what I'm
point, there
saying?
was something.
Yeah.
I
Go
know
ahead.
what you're saying, but a lot of those fans from when even like here in Utah, it'd be a lot of young people in there, and so they learned it from their people, and they just started continuing. They grew up Jazz fans because their parents were Jazz fans when the Jazz were great. I get what you're saying, but we don't have a history yet because what the Pelicans aren't they like one of the newest NBA franchises since because of what 23 years? Who's newer than us right now?
The
Anybody know?
Bobcats
Probably
in
OKC.
OKC
OKC. Yeah, okay.
and
So like
Charlotte.
OKC, I've been to Oklahoma City. Bro, when I tell you, because that's all they got there. All they got is basketball. So even when they was bad, guess what they do? They still showed up. They still showed out. They still showed up even while they was bad. So I get it. We got the Saints and we got LSU and we got
Ever, ever? Can I just
no,
ask you a
you can't. You know
question?
why? Because every time we get on fucking
Please,
spaces, y'all let y'all niggas talk
please.
for 25 minutes and
No,
nobody
but
interrupt y'all. And
I'm
I
gonna
just be
set you
sitting
up
here
to talk for another
listening.
20 minutes.
And then you
You,
jump in, and then y'all want to interrupt me every 2 damn
I'm
seconds.
sorry, but look, man,
No, no,
I gotta
no.
get this
Chris,
question up.
Chris,
You gotta
mute
let him.
his
You
microphone.
gotta let him. Yeah. You gotta let him finish, y'all. You gotta let him finish. Go ahead.
It's a new year. No more interrupting me when I'm fucking get on spaces. God damn. All right. But so I understood what Alvin was saying, and I agree with him, but I disagree because the ownership, it's a partnership between ownership and fans where they have to do things to make people want to show up because we don't have that history that everybody else have. They have to invest into the damn team, invest into the stadium, invest into their product if you're going to have a service of entertainment for your fans. So I agree. I disagree with him in that fact. You have to give people a reason to show up. And I'll never forget this. One of the things, it was Joel Embiid. He was on a podcast or something. Or no, they was just talking in the stadium. He was like, bro, I would never want to play here because there's nobody here. This motherfucker was empty. And so that's on the fans to show up. So you can't say in one breath, oh, nobody want to come play in New Orleans, because this people do want to come play right across the way in the same city, different sport, but it's the same city, but nobody want to come play here. Well, you have to give people a reason to want to come to your team too. It's a give and take on both ends of the string between the ownership and the fans as a collective in order for us to want people to come here. And that's my take on what Alvin was saying. And to answer your question, Chris, but the whole I missed a lot of today. But the one thing I did want to say when I came up here was everybody keep talking about, well, who said it? Something about, are we going to be able to handle a rebuild? No, fans can't handle a rebuild. Fucking hell. I don't know what the hell the team is doing right now as what their plan is. And if I can speculate, because that's all of us do, and a lot of people hate the way my fandom, because they always say, oh, you're too positive. You need to hate the team more. Bro, I have no control. I don't lose sleep because the Pelicans are ass. I'm doing quite well for myself in life. So this is entertainment. It's just as like me going to watch a fucking movie. If I like the movie, oh, hell yeah, that shit was fire. If I don't like the movie, or if it's a series, I'm not going to watch the bitch again. That's just the way it is for me. So they don't affect my life at all. But I do enjoy basketball. So what if this is literally the beginning of a rebuild, aka I think Chad said it on one of his podcasts, or he tweeted it out. We got a lot of money coming off the books in the future. So what's the point of doing something now? They're like, well, fuck. We finally about to be in a position to where we can get a bunch of money off of our goddamn books next year. So fans, y'all want to rebuild? Go ahead and get ready for this fucking 10-win season. And then next year, people get traded and start disappearing off the team, and then we can see what we can do. Because right now we have no room to do really anything. No true tradable assets, we got a couple, but they're our youngest stars that they want to at least keep to have some type of entertainment value on the damn team. We don't want to be a fucking Brooklyn when you can't name 10 people on the fucking roster. So that is literally my take on it, Chris, on just the direction that we're going. Just, hey, we're just going to ride this shit out, let people fall off, and then we'll see what happens in the damn future that way. And there's my 2 cents. Go ahead, Charles, since you want to interrupt. Motherfucker.
Go ahead, Charles.
Bro, you said that nobody in New Orleans has an appetite for a rebuild. And then you preceded that by naming the 2 teams that have executed flawless rebuilds and compared
what 2 teams
all I'm trying to say
did I name?
You named Utah and you named Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's the teams. I'm talking about the fans, bro. I'm talking about
the fans had a reason to be locked in, even though they were only winning 22, 23, 24 games. And that's my point.
Recently, but for the fucking last 10 years, they didn't have that fucking reason. And they still were showing up.
Utah hasn't been good for a long time. But even you said, because you're in Salt Lake City, you went to the Summer League. You know, the seats were comfortable, the drinks were cold, and there were a plethora of young, talented basketball players that they could all watch. And I'm saying to myself, well, damn, I really wouldn't be on here talking the shit that I talk if the Pelicans were just flush with draft picks and comfortable seats and a bunch of dudes who might be really good someday.
Charles, you're comparing us now to where they are today. I'm talking about where they were fucking 10 years ago when they started this shit. That is where you have to compare to. Was all that shit still in place then? That's what I'm talking about. So if this is the start of a rebuild for us, this is not the start of their rebuild's been going on for fucking years. If this is ours,
Okay,
go ahead.
okay. So Charles, you make good points, and Everett, you as well. I gotta move on to Dylan. I'm gonna kind of continue the rebuild conversation. It, it reminded me of something that's always kind of bothered me, Dylan, as I lead to you here. The the Pelicans/Hornets have never rebuilt. They like never. And when I mean never, I mean never. It didn't happen after Baron Davis. It lasted a couple of years, and then you the veterans, eventually arrived. Right, everything has been sped up. Everything there hasn't been a plan that has been attached to draft capital and a 5 year or 10 year plan, just a bunch of losing next to young talent. That patience hasn't been given because depending on who you talk to, people say that the audience doesn't have the patience for it, which is funny because yeah, here we are, right, 25 years later. But to Everett's point and Charles's point, or even when Kai was talking about it, Alvin mentioned it about there's some people that believe that there's patience for rebuild. Some people that believe that there isn't. But is there a way to have patience with something like that in which you haven't seen it? You can name whatever superstar you want or whatever young talent has been brought to New Orleans. It has not been accompanied by a rebuild, by a plan that lasts long before there is some type of aggression from the front office to add veteran talent or trade draft capital within the first couple of years. What's your thoughts on the rebuild element? And you can go into whatever other parts of the conversation you want to respond to, bro. Welcome back
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's up? What's up, man? It's good to hear you back in here, Chris, Everett, Disgusto. Charles, what's the word? It's been good conversation in here, man. It's good to hear all of y'all talking. And to answer your question, Chris, it's hard to rebuild from nothing. I mean, we've never had anything to rebuild from. It's like when you rebuild something, you got to tear something down. And we've never gotten to that space where something has been built up enough to tear it down. And so I don't think we can really even process through the ideal of having a rebuild when we haven't even, I mean, we've never done it. And so for me, if you're saying strip away the primary players and add new players, we've seen that over and over in time. I mean, when they first got here, Baron Davis was the primary guy and CP3 was the primary. We've seen that, and we've always had a primary guy. Now, if you're asking if we could ever exist without having a quote unquote primary guy or a draw, I mean, if we're being honest, you could say you had that when people like me was getting excited to seeing Dan Dickow and Darrell Armstrong on the team, and that was like the pools. I guess you could say that was the only moment where it was like we didn't really have a guy, and that's because of injury that we had that moment take place. And so, could we handle a rebuild that looks like that? I personally think for New Orleans, any place else, I would say no. But because of the heartbeat and the culture of the city and the way you show up, we watch a city rally around Drew Holiday when Anthony Davis didn't want to be there anymore. It's more about if you really, really down for the city and you really, really arrive for the region and you really, really will go out there and hoop and really, really hoop and not just be collecting a check. It's real, recognized real. We respect that. And then we turn our complete attention towards the front office and our complete attention towards the ownership, because at that point, it's no longer on the product on the floor, because the product on the floor isn't really a product. You're going against Louis Vuitton and you got a fake Birkin. You know what I mean? And you can't really compare to the situation. And so I would say, could we handle rebuild? I think it depends on the players that are involved with it. But I would honestly say we've never been able to rebuild, and I never don't think we will be able to rebuild because we never had anything to tear down. I mean, it's been man, this all I got for the month. Instances. I mean, you gotta you gotta ask yourself these logical questions. So that would be the one thing that I would say will always hold back the Pelicans from, if they're ever going to be in that threshold where it's like, yeah, they're bad, but it's still going to pack out. Because I think personally, I agree with you, Chaz, to an instance. Yes, it takes getting to the playoffs to where you get those wear feather or way feather, whatever they call fair weather. Sorry, fair weather fans in the arena, because they obviously going to show up. But I genuinely believe that if you make people make a decision and you have a quality product on the floor that makes that decision hard, a lot of people would probably rather go see the Pelicans play, because I mean, people want to be a part of something. You want to be a part of something that's happening, and you want to be a part of something that's on the rise. That's just my opinion there. And then I'm gonna transition because I know we got more people that want to talk, and I know y'all on time constraints. I just looked at something I didn't even know this before. I don't know how I didn't know this, but like the Pelicans are spending more money than a lot of playoff teams. So yes, we can say Gale is the problem. My man's got up here, 20-year-old Pelican, whatever his name, Flock Doc, Read a Clock, whatever his name is. He got up here and went crazy. I'm gonna be honest, like Gail, Gail's biggest weakness is she values friendship more than she values doing the right thing. Like, I really think David Griffin, I really think that was like a weird hire for Gil. And I think y'all were in the building when David was there. So y'all could kind of iterate to that more. I see Justin in here and everybody else. Y'all could talk more. If I feel like when Gail hired David Griffin, she like was clenching her pearls, like, I don't know him that well. Like, it was kind of like a different situation for her. And I think her
Mm.
going to get Joe after
Hold
Dave.
on, hold on,
Go
hold,
ahead.
hold on, hold on, Dylan. How she said it again?
I forgot already. Dang. But anyway,
I,
I was
I,
in
I
the
don't worry.
moment.
Go
I was
ahead.
in the moment. But anyway, but more what I was trying to say is I feel like her going back and getting Joe was like, I need to go back with what I know. And then I'm gonna land by saying this. I really believe this team is at a crossroads more than anything. I don't think we're at a rebuild, because I don't think they'll ever do that, because I think Gail isn't. I don't mean this in a bad way, no disrespect to her and anybody who's in here that responds her, but I don't think she would even. I don't even think she'd be smart enough to just do that. Just being honest. But I think we're at a spot where Joe came in and he came in and tried to do things really quick, and then the media and everybody else didn't respond like he thought they would. And so now he's zooming back and saying, "Hold on, let me just do stuff subtly, and let me just subtly make a little changes around it." Which, mind you, he made any changes, but I digress. Like, let me bring Jamal in, and then organically let me build up the Jonte's value, let me build up JP's value, and then let's make a couple of moves towards the trade deadline, and we're going to build something organically, which none of us want to hear that, because we don't want to support a trash team. But I just think that's the reality of where we are now, and that's what I'm seeing. So that's all I had. I appreciate y'all as always, and man, it's always good to be in these spaces.
All right, all right. Appreciate that, bro. Dylan, I don't. Y'all might be. I'm getting sleepy. So Herb staying 24. Come on, bro. You've been up here for a little bit, and then I'm gonna get some closing remarks. Then we get the fuck out of here. Herb, what up, bro?
All right, but I'll be quick.
Go ahead,
But
bro.
basically, my only thing, like, we keep comparing ourselves to like all these different franchises, but it's like, for example, when like you bring up the Grizzlies, they've had multiple different iterations, and I think people kind of we have to understand, for them, they found consistency just due to the simple fact that whoever the owner was at the time, I think they had a vastly different owner than the other guy during the grit and grind era. They had guys that were basketball guys. They had guys that knew what they were going to do, guys that understood how basketball was played at the time, or even like technically during the grit and grind era, it was a version of basketball that wasn't very flashy, but it was a style that worked. I think under Gail, and I think what she's I think that she, especially when you look at the David Griffin hire and especially with the Joe Dumars hire, she, in a roundabout way, and it might sound crazy, she's basically trying to find her Ricky Loomis. And again, I might sound crazy saying it, but she's trying to find her Ricky Loomis for the Pelicans. Because regardless of whether we like Ricky or not,
Ricky Loomis?
Yeah, my bad, Mickey Loomis. My bad, Mickey
They
Loomis.
made Mickey black, man.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
yeah,
Go ahead,
Mickey
bro.
Loomis. But regardless of how we feel about Mickey, he knows football. Like he's not the greatest. He's not the greatest GM at all. But at the end of the day, she Tom believed in him. He won. He's consistent enough. She just can't find that with the Pelicans. And again, no, I don't want her to find a Mickey Loomis because I hate Mickey Loomis. But until we can somehow find guys for the Pelicans that are consistent and know how to basically do their jobs and knows how to bring in a brand of basketball that works regardless of what era, regardless of what star player you have, I don't really think I don't think that this team will ever get to the point where it's a consistent playoff teams similar to teams like Utah, similar to teams like the Grizzlies or whatever, these other small market teams, because again, they have, regardless of whether we want to admit it or not, or even OKC, like they have GMs and guys that know how basketball should be played. They understand all the ins and outs, regardless of what the era is, and they stick to a particular brand of basketball. Utah from freaking John Stockton to Karl Malone, nonstop pick and roll. Then they brought that in with Boozer and Darren Williams. And then when that didn't work, they had that little era with Gordon Hayward. Then they went to old boy Donovan Mitchell. They've been pretty bad currently, but now due to drafting and all that other stuff with uh Danny Ainge, they look like they're on the up and up. Same thing with the Grizzlies. We just haven't been able to have a consistent group of guys that are able to, like I said, regardless of the era of basketball, find consistency and stick to a style of play. And until we do that, of course, every other year is going to feel like hell. And I'm not even saying Joe ain't doing that because again, Joe's had good hires. I mean, he hired I think he hired the lady from OKC. That's a decent hire. He got rid of the medical people and the training people that, I mean, we've been complaining about that for the longest. So I don't think that he's not doing his job, but it's again, for when you come into a situation for years, it's been the same thing over and over and over again. And you haven't had any real consistency. Of course, the fans are going to be mad, and I don't blame the fans for being mad. But again, like I said, to put a bow on it, until we find some type of consistency when it comes down to from ownership to GM to everything, we're not going to get to where we want to get because again, it takes consistency. It takes people knowing what has to be done when it has to be done consistently year in and year out, and we're not there yet.
Okay, well said, Herb. Yo, man, I'm gonna allow whoever else from the group wants to kind of close out. I guess some closing remarks if you guys have some final thoughts, and then I'm gonna get y'all on out of here, man. Alvin, what's up, bro?
I'm gonna be. I don't know if y'all can hear me, and I appreciate everybody respond. You can hear me clearly,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, we hear you.
All I'm gonna say is this, and this is for fans, GMs, players, ownership, everybody. My whole point of my soliloquy and all of that shit earlier is everybody has to be accountable for what's going on. That's all I mean, bro. Like, if we want a better product, then we need to do our part in showing up to support and then also doing our part to hold them accountable. When we talk about Gail, right? Gail hired David Griffin to do his fucking job, right? If he was good at his job, then everything else falls in line. If Zion is good at his job, if Trey is good at his job, like we have to hold people accountable for doing what they supposed to do. And when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you can't pass the blame necessarily to somebody else. That's where I'm at. So when we talk about, and I understand when we talk like historically, and it's been a lot of that, and man, people made great points comparing to like the moments and iterations of other teams and stuff like that. It's like, well, we also wanted change fast. Like as soon as something started to go a different way, we wanted immediate change, right? Like we like they didn't do enough to build around Chris Paul to force Chris Paul to want to leave. They didn't do enough to consistently build it the right way around Anthony Davis to force Anthony Davis to want to leave. In this new version of whatever it is we're moving towards, we need, and you can feel, some people feel Joe Dumars did well with drafting Fears and Queen, and then some people feel like they didn't do well with drafting Queen. Everybody as of right now loves Fears. That's personally, if you like both of them, that's a step in the right direction. If this team is not good come trade deadline, everybody probably gonna be out of here anyway. They went to the route and got like a quality coach. So as far as like the possibility of creating something sustainable, because that's kind of where we are, in my opinion. We're like in the midst of, okay, this could possibly be the moment where, I don't want to say like we start the rebuild necessarily, but these are the moments right now that we're in where we're creating the new future of whatever we want this team to be. And I just hope with all of the people that got influence, right? All of the shows, all of the fans, all of the like people that's doing pods and spaces and writing and all of that, like y'all are, we are the influence. Let's just continue to like apply our pressure and continue to put the influence and move this bitch forward the way that we want it to move. And I think we'll see the organization continue to follow. And the reason I say that, and I land with this, is when the fan base has spoken to a degree, we have seen them move. They complained about Willie enough. Willie is no longer here. Once we started truly complaining about Griff, Griff was no longer here. The second we actually get our voice and like get on the same page about stuff, we start seeing things happen. People gave a lot of shit about the moves that they made, so now they overcorrecting and not making no moves. So we just have to find the balance of what we want, get on one accord, and then I think we could guide this bitch to wherever we want it to be. That's just kind of where I'm at, man. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, oh, uh, Martin Alvin King in the flesh, bringing us together, piece by piece. Chaz, what you got, man? So we can close. I'm tired.
I just want to say shout out to Chris, man. Chris is one of the architects of kind of reinvigorating this fan base and uniting a lot of people and helping launch a lot of shows and careers in the media space. So for the people who are kind of, I say alarmed at the change in the media dynamic as it pertains to local coverage, make sure you're supporting spaces like this and the local coverage that does exist, because ultimately the only way to keep some of these things functioning and going is supporting shows like this, making sure you retweet the spaces and just being supportive and kind of, no one's asking for any money or anything. It would be nice. But still, my cash app is in the thing. But shout out shout out to Chris and much appreciation to you. Also want to say San Antonio Spurs didn't pay the tax, OKC didn't pay the tax, Indiana didn't pay the tax. All them bitches was in the finals doing their thing. So you just got to build a good team and see what happens, man. So I'm locked in. I ain't really tripping. Peace.
Hey man, in closing, man, shout out to all the good people that's watching on YouTube, man. Shout out to everybody up here that's creating something, man. If it's Pelicans related, if it's whatever it is, man. If you creating anything, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Chad said it best there, man. I mean, retweet the show, man. Retweet the show, pass the word, and continue to put out stuff. I mean, to a point, Elvin is right. You do have to partially be the change that you want. Now, I ain't taking the blame for the Pelicans signing Drew Holiday and trading for Drew Holiday and signing Tariq Evans and trading for Robin Lopez and 1 year into Anthony Davis. But that's neither here nor there. Also, I do want your money. So, Chaz can be humble. I want your money. So, don't listen to that. But nah, all love. Will, I see you in here, man, for real, bro. Salute to you, man. Have a great time in Houston. You deserve it, man. You did a bunch of great work here from the city, man. So shout out to Will, pretty much staying here the entire time. Retro Pels, I see you. I'm glad you're back on Twitter. And everybody else, man, who pulled up, man. So, I see you in here. For Lauren, I see you in here. Dylan, Boss Man, E, Nick Malone, the name go Arissa, a bunch of people in here, man. It's been, I kind of names that I didn't notice. But yeah, man. Until next time, I don't know when I'm doing this again, but this was something at least for today. So we'll holler at y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Check out the latest odds on FanDuel. FanDuel has Zion Williamson currently listed at 2,500 to win the MVP award.
Yeah, of course, NIL season is one of our favorite times around the office, but let's just say it's taken the NIL athletes a little time to get adjusted to the law firm environment.
Yeah, we handled that case. Yeah, we got it. It's good.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm too good. Yeah, well, I'm listening.
Hey. What's up with Lil Scott?
It's David.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating and write a review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.